welcome to the first episode of the Solutions for Life podcast brought to you by Isabella Community Credit Union. I'm Nicole Mazurkovich, the marketing director here, and today we have a very special guest joining us. I'm thrilled to welcome Jenny Hoyle, our CEO of Isabella Community Credit Union. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm delighted.
Yeah.
It's an exciting milestone for us.
Before we dive in, Jenny, could you share a little bit about your journey becoming the CEO here? You've been here 36 years. Is that you hit your milestone of 36 this year?
36 years this year, yes. So I started as a part-time teller at ICCU while I was finishing up my degree at Central, higher up CHIPS. And I was just planning to be here long enough to get my degree until I graduated and got a real job. And lo and behold, this became my real job, and I really learned that I loved the credit union industry and everything we're about, Wonderful. The whole people helping people concept. And so I served in just about every capacity at the credit union other than the accounting department. As I worked my way up, I served in lending and helped with IT projects and security and operations and marketing even, like you. And then before this role, I was the chief operations officer for many years. And then when my predecessor retired, I became the CEO.
Nice. Well, that's a fantastic journey. Thanks for sharing that. It's clear your experience has played a huge role in what is being built and what ICCU stands for today. So that's awesome. So in today's episode, we're going to focus on sharing what a credit union is and what makes institutions like ICCU so unique, explore the history of ICCU, and we'll cover, what credit unions are, what's different between a credit union and a traditional bank. And then we'll take a deep dive into the commitment we have for our community and our members. So if you're wondering what makes a credit union so special and you're curious about ICC's role in our local area, you're in for a good conversation. So let's jump right in.
Okay.
All right. Let's start by defining what a credit union is. And can you share with our listeners a little bit about what's the difference between a credit union and a traditional bank?
Sure. A credit union is a not-for-profit financial cooperative. So we are owned by our members. So the people that have their accounts here and do their business with us are actually owners of the credit union. So that's a little different than the structure of a bank, where they are owned by their stockholders who expect to make a return on their investment, whereas we're able to turn, our profits back into enhanced services for our members, or better rates, or lower fees, things like that. And then one of the other big differences is then our membership gets to elect the board of directors that represents them.
Yep. And
those board members serve as volunteers. They're unpaid volunteers, but they share their time, treasure, and talents with us. And they really help guide the strategy and future of the credit union. And the decisions they make, one of the things I love is the decisions they make impact them too, because they're members of the credit union. And so I think that's an important difference as well.
Awesome. So that cooperative structure, can you explain a little more about that? I know there's lots of credit unions in Mount Pleasant and the surrounding areas. What does that cooperative structure look like? And how does that impact us on a day-to-day? What do we all do on a day-to-day that not breeds, I don't want to say that word. Let's start that over. Fosters. Better word. So that cooperative structure is a huge difference. And we have credit unions and other credit unions in Mount Pleasant. And that we have some shared branching, things like that. Can you explain a little bit more about that for our listeners?
Yeah, so one of the guiding principles of cooperatives is cooperation amongst cooperatives. And so that's very different than our friends at the bank and how they operate. We will work together on projects for the betterment of the community or to serve our members. We'll have agreements that are mutually beneficial to help us and the other credit unions serve our members, such as shared branching that you mentioned. And that's a great way our members can go to another credit union at times to receive service. And we have, so in our case, it's the Extend Shared Branching Network, but anybody from a credit union that's also on the Extend Shared Branching Network, their members can come here. So a lot of times we'll have even students that are away at school at CMU, and they'll be able to come in here and do transactions from their credit unions at home. And then our members, when they're traveling or out and about or away at school, can do the same.
Yeah, my daughter is at school right now, and it's nice that she's a member of this credit union, but she can also, if she needs to get cash out of an ATM, she can find one in Saginaw, and it doesn't cost her anything. So that's definitely a bonus for us.
The ATM partnership is a huge, wonderful example of cooperation among cooperatives. So part of the co-op, now Valera, ATM network, it's an agreement between all the credit unions that work with that organization, which is owned by credit unions, and then it provides a huge network of ATMs across the country that our members can use at no cost. And so we have over 30,000 ATMs. So we're very locally, we're very hyper local here in Mount Pleasant, but our members can go all across the country and find an ATM they can use at no cost, much like Bank of America or Wells Fargo or one of these huge institutions that's across the country. Our members have access to just as large, if not larger, of an ATM network that they can use.
Yeah, that's a great advantage for our members to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I know you've probably heard some amazing stories through your 36 years of service, but there's one that comes to mind when I talk about, or when I think about you and your tenure here, and that is your adoption story. So that one really is a great story I'd like you to share. It really shows that what we're doing for our members and how we, are really dedicated to them.
Yeah. When I was a loan officer, one of my most memorable service experiences that still warms my heart to this day is that we had a couple that were members of the credit union, still are, who were unable to have children of their own. And so then they embarked on a process of trying to adopt.
Yeah.
And it's expensive. And so I was able to help them with a loan to adopt their son.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Who is around the same age as my own children, and they ended up going to school together. So I got to just experience firsthand the joy of being able to be a part of that. So what looks like just a financial transaction, whether it be for an adoption or for a house or a first car or things like that, it's really meaningful moments we get to help provide for our members that can really change their life. And in this case, it was for the better, and it's just a wonderful thing to witness and be a part of and being able to help do.
Yeah, I love that story. It's one of my favorites. So let's take a step back and let's share a little bit about the history of ICCU. So give us a brief overview. I know we were founded in 1958 by teachers, but if you want to share a little bit more about that story.
So we started as the school employees of Isabella County Credit Union. A very long name. I'm glad it's been a little bit shortened. We still have a mouthful when we say it out loud, don't we?
Yes, we do.
But we started as an educational credit union, and so that's still a part of our roots today. We like to help with educational causes, and one of the things we do with that is the teacher mini grant program and our high school branch. We love education, and it's just really part of our DNA. It started in Reed McGee's office at the Mount Pleasant High School. He was a counselor at Mount Pleasant High, and he would go on payday from school to collect member deposits. And I think I forget the exact number of members that we started with, but I think maybe a total of $5,200 at the end of our first year in business. Yes. So we come from very modest and humble beginnings, but that neighbors helping neighbors philosophy, we've grown to now we're over $200 million in assets today.
So from that small start with the teachers, what are some more key milestones we've hit over the years? I mean, now our asset size is over 200 million.
Yeah.
So what from then to there, what's made that possible?
Well, all kinds of things, really. So as the credit union grew, we eventually moved over into somebody's kitchen, and but then eventually, of course, built our own offices and things. And today we do have 3 offices in Mount Pleasant, along with a student-run branch at the Mount Pleasant High School in partnership with GI Tech. So those are great things that have come. I think of several milestones when we first added checking accounts or we added debit cards. We were the first financial institution in the Mount Pleasant area to offer free checking. And so that was a big thing for us. I think we had then, as time progressed and people started changing and technology advancements came along, we added our first website, ICCUonline.com, and that was actually one of my projects when I was in marketing. And that was in 1999, as I recall. And we've just had several things since then. We, like I said, mentioned the student-run branch at the high school. We had added that came out of a joint presentation to the school board from the Gratiot Isabella Technical Education Center and ICCU. We prepared a joint presentation for the board to get approval to do that, and that's still operating today. So that was in 2005. And then we did expand our charter in 2006. So we were, through a couple of mergers and things, we had added some people from Clare Governmental and Moorbark had its own little credit union that didn't do full service, and so they had, when their person running that had retired, they had merged in. But eventually we saw the need to be able to help people a little bit outside our area. So instead of just Isabella County now, we have Isabella County and all the surrounding counties. So we have that 8-county field of membership today. And that did help us also with our indirect lending program, so our members are able to go to the dealers they like to purchase vehicles from and get ICCU financing right at the dealer. In 2008, we added President's Day weekend. I remember that well. We added the main office where we're recording this today. Yeah, and so that was a really big milestone for the credit union, and it really gave us the opportunity to grow from there. And then we were just, when COVID hit, we were in the middle of working on our project for our contact center. So before the contact center came along, we've been answering phone calls at the front line, and it was just getting to be too much with the number of members we have now, close to 14,000 members. And so and our members are out doing all kinds of self-service things. They're doing online and mobile banking, and they're using their debit card everywhere they go, and we need to support them. And so it's important we can get to the phone calls quickly and get them right to those people that can help. And so we were able to add the contact center, but not quite when we wanted to. It did get delayed a little. So in 2021 is when we rolled that out, and that has been a wonderful game changer for the credit union. And then, gosh, was it just last year that we relocated our downtown office? So time flies when you're having fun, right? But yeah, we remodeled. We're in, I call it Cooperative Row. We're in there with Green Tree Co-op grocery store. So we're a co-op and they're a co-op, and we went from a larger space that just really had more room than what we needed in an older facility, and the owner was looking to sell the building. So we chose to move into a brand new space by Green Tree Co-op on Broadway Street there. And one of the best things about that for our members that we get feedback on is we now have dedicated parking downtown for ICCU members, and that had been a deterrent to some of our members being able to use the downtown office because they couldn't find a nearby parking place. So that's been great. Yeah.
And where do we sit today? 200?
We're $203 million in assets today.
So we've really grown over the years, and I think that really shows how we've been integrated in this community, and we're a vital part of that. So let's shift gears a little bit.
The last $100 million has come pretty quickly. So I think we hit our first $100 million. We hit that landmark in 2015, and here we are less than 10 years later, and we've doubled in size, and we're a little over $200 million today.
Wow.
So the good news about that is that means our members are finding value here, and we're able to successfully help them with their finances. So that's a wonderful thing.
Yep. So we'll shift gears now and kind of move into talking about our local community, because we do a lot within our community. So how are we making a difference in philanthropy and scholarships and things like that?
Yeah. Well, at Isabella Community Credit Union, we like to say that community is our middle name, and we had expanded our charter to the whole community back in 1984, and with that comes a commitment, right? And so we do a lot with our community. We partner with local areas, organizations, other organizations that are doing good things to help our friends and neighbors in the Mount Pleasant area. So I mentioned the teacher mini grants earlier. That's one of the things we do every year now, and is exciting and fun to do, to help provide resources for teachers to see the dreams for their classrooms come true. We also partner with United Way on the Stuff the Bus program, and so we subsidize gift cards, and it's United Way of Gratiot and Isabella counties, and every elementary school teacher in Gratiot and Isabella County gets an ICCU Visa gift card. for $100 to spend for supplies on their classroom. And United Way raises funds for that, but we partner by providing part of the cost, all of the cost of the card, and then part of that $100 also to help make that happen. And then, whether it's the soup kitchen or volunteering at a high school football game, our employees are engaged out in the community. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our annual Play It Safe Kids Health and Safety
Fair,
Day,
yep.
which is really our signature event we do for the community each year. And we typically have hundreds of kids and their caregivers, parents and caregivers, come through and learn about, our law enforcement and public works employees and how all those things work. They get to see what a fire truck looks like, or what a police car looks like, or interact with the K-9 unit, or they get to have some of their health screenings to start school, and they learn how to bicycle safety and get their free bike helmets, and all kinds of just great educational things that day for the kids, and fun too.
Yeah.
And so we love doing that day for the community, and we're really grateful to have the partnership of My Michigan Health to put that on together each year now. And what year are we in on that?
That was
now,
year
Nicole?
10. This year was year 10.
So we're to double digits now. So that's just our pleasure to provide that for the community. And I know it's been very well received and a value to the people that attend.
Yeah, and the Stuff the Bus, I'm starting to get thank yous from the teachers. I received one this week that she said it's nice to be able to take that money and spend it on the things she needs for her classroom. She's an art teacher, and she bought trays for her kids to have paint. She said they were always picking up wet paper and having to move it, and these paint trays that she was able to purchase, they can move it, let it dry, and it's not making a mess in her classroom. So, I mean, these are those tiny little things that just make a difference for those teachers out there that,
for sure,
our roots where we came from, and it's nice to support them and see that that's really making a difference in their classroom.
And we do integrate community even into our own educational things that we do here. So like this fall, we'll have our Together We Grow Team Enrichment Day. And during part of that is for our staff education and professional development. So we're going to learn together. But then in the afternoon on that day, we have some exciting things planned where our staff are going to create some blankets for CU Kind Day to go to the local hospital and help for adults and kids, or to make some pet beds, right, for the
for hats.
shelter.
Yep.
And each year
shelter.
it might be something different. That's just what we're going to do this year, but we try to incorporate some community involvement and service opportunities for our team on that day as we grow together.
Yeah, we also have our annual pie sale coming up, and that always benefits our scholarships, which we haven't talked about.
How did I fail to mention the pie sale? Yeah.
We have our scholarships at the Community Foundation, and did we give 3 away this year? Or was it just?
It was 3.
Yeah. So those are for our high school graduates that are heading into college, and we all, that's where our pie sales we designate those funds to be able to keep that endowment growing and in helping those students as they head off to college, which again, we're back to our education roots where we that comes full circle for us. So we're making a big difference. I think that it's great. What do you think the key attributes of the people that are in the building? What are they doing that are making that happen? Our staff.
Well, I think the key attributes of our staff is that whole people helping people concept. So our team, we hire people that care about other people at the end of the day. And so what we do is financial services, and yes, it's important that we're accurate and we take good care of our members' money, but we try to hire helpful people that are here to serve our members and to serve our community and to help make a difference. And so sometimes that means that we'll listen to the member's story when another financial institution might not. And we'll really hear and get to the bottom of what their needs are and try to find creative ways to help meet those needs so that they can operate. Or one story that comes to mind, for example, came to me from one of our collectors. So like, how could a positive service experience come from our collectors? And but it does, because we had this great testimonial from a member that said because our collector was able to work with them and they were smart enough to communicate with our collector, they were able to stay in their car and not have it be repossessed, which probably would have happened somewhere else. And that allowed her to continue to work and take care of her family and be able to to do those. So it's all about that relationship that we can help build with our members and to help them meet their needs.
There's some longevity here too. You're not the longest tenure.
No, we have somebody that's been here around 43 years.
So that's a long time to be helping people.
And she had started as a co-op employee, like what we hire for our student-run branch at the high school. She had started as a co-op employee and then became a permanent employee when she got out of school, and she's still here today. Yeah,
and I bet it's changed a lot from the beginning to now, and a lot of the digital services that we started to offer, and we've launched 3 new ones this year. Do you want to talk a little bit about our online opening, Savvy Money, and the referral program?
I would be delighted to, yes. So first of all, we'll talk about online account opening.
Yeah.
So one of the things that delayed us a little bit in online account opening is we hear in our industry about all the fraud that takes place with online account opening. And so we didn't want our membership subjected to that or to put their assets at risk with fraud. And so we wanted to make sure we had some really good security measures in place. And we do with our online opening process. They can it's a live picture verification against their ID, in addition to some challenging knowledge-based questions about their own histories to help prevent that. And so members today can or prospective members, somebody that like to join, they can just go online and do it all right there from start to finish, right to account funding online, which is wonderful. And then in the online banking, as they end that and are finishing with their opening account, it'll get them right going with their online account access.
Yeah.
And all of our members have that available to them. And within the online account access, we've added something called Savvy Money, which if you've ever used Credit Karma, it's a little bit similar to that in the sense that it will help you stay on top of your credit score and know what's going on with your scores. And it will also help tie you into some great options available at ICCU that might help you to improve your credit score or save money. So Savvy Money has been a really good thing and very well received by our membership.
And that's at no cost to our members, right?
No cost to the members,
so
right?
We offer that for free, which is helpful for those folks that don't have that resource.
Right. And so I can just pick up my smartphone and know what my credit score is just by logging into my ICCU online banking. And then the most recent one we just rolled out, and I know this was your project, so you have to be so excited about it, is called Refer Live.
Yeah.
And our members can earn up to $500 a year by referring other people to the credit union. So we have a lot of members that through our member survey program tell us how much they love doing business at ICCU. And that's a great thing to share because not everybody can say that about where they handle their money, right?
Right.
So I think it's wonderful because then now our members can tell their friends and neighbors, and we can say thank you through the referral program. So,
we are appreciative of those referrals.
Absolutely.
And I love the online opening. That definitely helps with those outskirt counties that are out of Isabella County. That gives them the opportunity to become a member, and you don't have to come to the branch and actually do that. Yeah. That's really, really nice.
And in today's world with all the service opportunities, being able to deposit checks just by taking a picture and being able to use your debit card and things like that, it's really easy to do business with ICCU without having to come to the branch office all the time. We're here for you. We love to see you when you come. So it's not that we don't want you here, but people are busy in their lives, and we have a lot of solutions to help people do their business in a really efficient way that's convenient for them without them having to make a trip here.
Yeah, well, and making it easy, I think, is part of our helping people, is making it easy on them so that it's not draining on them to come and become a member. So I have one last question as we wrap up our podcast. What financial advice would you give to our youth today? Since you've been in this industry for almost 40 years, that's a lot. A lot has changed, a lot has adapted. What would you tell your younger self? What financial advice would you?
I would talk to myself about the miracle of compound interest and the importance of saving early. So whatever little bit you can save, and how interest works, it's going to earn interest on what you put aside. And, anybody could retire a millionaire if they start saving young enough. And so I would really talk to myself about that. The other thing I think I would tell myself is that if you do ever get into trouble with your money or you're going through a rough time, because let's face it, life happens to people, sometimes things that are beyond our control, is to not hide from your financial institution. Call your credit union. Call us at ICCU. Like that person that talked to the collector about their car, and have a communication about it. And there's things out there that can help you, and you're going to do better if you communicate on it than if you stick your head in the sand.
Yep, I agree. So as we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment. We'll recap some of the things we talked about. We discussed, how unique ICCU is, the credit union movement, the credit union cooperative, and our history. We've highlighted how just a group of dedicated teachers has grown to be a vital part of the Mount Pleasant community. We've talked about numerous advantages of banking with credit unions and with our whether it's lower fees or it's better loan rates or personalized service. That's what we're here for. Jenny shared a lot of wonderful stories. Thank you so much. The adoption story, it's just heartwarming to hear we can do those things for folks. So I love seeing that real life impact in our stories and things that we do here. So thank you all for tuning in today, and a special thank you, Jenny, for joining me today, sharing your knowledge and passion for ICCU. We hope this episode gave you a better understanding about what the credit union difference is and what we have to offer. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, or if you need any other information, find us on ICCUonline.com. And until then, take care. Thank you.